If you're a parent faced with a 5-year-old asking, "Who made the stars? Where do you turn?" Anyone who has left a high-control religion knows that feeling of being spiritually homeless. Walking into a new church can feel terrifying when you suspect you might be handing your child over to a system built on shame. If your manipulation radar is currently turned up to max, you are right to trust it. You've navigated this before, and your skepticism is a healthy, protective instinct for your kids. That physical tightness you feel when you hear the words Sunday school is actually a biological warning sign designed to keep them safe. There is a clinical reason for that reaction. Dr. Marlene Winnell, the pioneer in studying religious trauma syndrome, observed that high-control religious environments actively damage a child's natural ability to think critically and trust their own perceptions. They bypass the child's agency, and we can see the physical impact of this. Look at this working paper from Harvard's Center on the Developing Child. The research shows that persistent fear and anxiety can affect the architecture of the developing brain. Because the part of the brain that unlearns fear matures much later in life, frightening a child into compliance with threats of divine wrath actually wires them for chronic anxiety. Now, full transparency, I am not here to recruit you into a new religion or sell you a replacement theology. I am sharing these tools because they align with the neurobiology of a healthy child. If they help, use them. If they feel like another cage, leave them right here. Our objective is to build a non-toxic sandbox. We want to protect what 18th century philosopher Emanuel Swedenborg called remains, those early, stored moments of wonder, so your child's neurobiological baseline stays secure. Step 1 in building this sandbox is establishing the veto power. Give your kids explicit permission to opt out. If a religious story, a song, or a lesson feels yucky or scary to them, tell them they have the right to turn it off or walk out of the room. The Harvard data we just looked at demonstrates that having a sense of control is the biological antidote to fear. When children know they can stop a threatening input, their stress systems remain stable. You've successfully implemented this step when your child feels entirely safe saying no to a spiritual topic without fearing disappointment. Now, step 2 is open the canon. If we look at this text from Emanuel Swedenborg, we find the concept of remains, the idea that the divine is constantly storing up goods and truths in a person. Swedenborg argued that these truths only stick when they are received in complete freedom. Coercion actively blocks spiritual growth. So, when your child asks a complex question about life or death, you do not need to supply a rigid, pre-packaged answer. You can use this exact phrase, "I'm still learning that too. What do you think?" By placing the question back in their hands, you help them develop an internal locus of control. They learn to trust their own reasoning, which serves as an immunization against future manipulation. And step 3 is shift to use. The traditional moral framework of obey because God said so relies entirely on a fear of authority. It teaches compliance to avoid punishment. We replace that by evaluating our actions based entirely on how useful and helpful they are to the people around us. At the end of the day, instead of asking, "Were you a good boy today?" try asking, "How were your hands useful today?" This simple vocabulary swap moves your child's moral foundation away from pleasing an unpredictable authority figure and grounds it firmly in active empathy. Our final step is the sun role. Teaching a child that an all-seeing spy God is constantly watching them for mistakes is a direct pathway to religious OCD and chronic hypervigilance. Instead, we use the metaphor of a warming sun. A sun does not judge the flowers that grow beneath it. It simply provides the constant light and heat necessary for them to thrive. To reinforce this, you can ask them, "Where did you feel God's warmth or kindness today?" When you associate the divine exclusively with safety and warmth, you effectively break the generational cycle of fear-based religion. By implementing these 4 steps, you are actively helping your child build neurological capital. You are protecting their inner peace while still giving them a safe place to explore big questions. We see the results of this approach in the data. Look at this campus, Columbia University, where Dr. Lisa Miller conducts her research. She draws a sharp line between extrinsic religion, which is based on rules and social compliance, and intrinsic spirituality, which is a personal, internal connection. This chart compares the likelihood of depression in teenagers based on those two categories. As the data shows, fostering that intrinsic, fear-free spirituality results in a massive 60% drop in the likelihood of depression. You don't need a perfect theological manual to raise healthy kids. The work you are doing right now to heal and deconstruct your own past is the greatest protective shield your child has. What is one Sunday school rule you have officially retired from your home? Share it with us in the comments.